I woke up screaming in a body that wasn't mine. The metallic tang of blood, someone else's blood, coating my tongue like a bad dream I couldn't spit out. My fiancé's face was the last thing I remembered before the blackout. His smile as sharp as the syringe he plunged into my neck, whispering, "This is for us. Baby, trust me."
Now.
Staring into the grimy mirror of a holding cell, Tommy Malone's scarred mug grinned back at me, a dead man's eyes blinking with my terror. And I knew Alex had buried me alive in this junkie's husk to bury his sins forever. It was supposed to be the perfect life.
Me.
Gianna Reyes, 32. Clawing my way up as a junior exec at Apex Dynamics. The Silicon Valley darling that promised to revolutionize neural interfaces, brain-computer links for the elite. The kind of tech that made billionaires what their Armani slacks. Alex Harrington, my fiancé, was the golden boy CEO. All Ivy League polish and shark's teeth hidden behind that boyish grin. We met at a fundraiser in San Francisco. Champagne flutes clinking under crystal chandeliers. His hand on the small of my back like he owned the curve of my spine. 6 months later, he proposed on the Golden Gate Bridge at sunset, the city sprawling below us like a conquered kingdom. "You're my edge, Gianna," he said, slipping the ring on my finger. "With you, I can code the future." But futures get rewritten in boardrooms stained with ambition. Apex wasn't just about neural links, it was black budget deep, siphoning DARPA contracts for shit that made MKUltra look like a yoga retreat. Project Echo, consciousness transference. Body swaps. Officially. Whispered in the C-suites as asset relocation, dumping a spy's mind into an enemy's skin for intel. Or worse, erasing loose ends. Alex got his hands on the prototype through his daddy's Senate poll. Senator Elias Harrington, the guy who chaired the Intelligence Committee and golfed with generals. I didn't know the details then. I was too busy playing good fiancé, signing NDAs without reading the fine print. The betrayal hit like a server crash, sudden, total blackout. It started with the murder. Victor Lang, Apex's CTO, the nerdy genius who'd greenlit Echo, found him slumped in his Palo Alto mansion. .38 in his temple. Suicide note blaming corporate pressures. Bullshit. Vic had cold feet. He'd leaked docs to me weeks earlier. Encrypted PDFs landing in my inbox like digital grenades. Echo wasn't theoretical. They'd tested it on detainees in black sites, swapping souls to extract confessions without waterboards. And Alex? He'd pushed for human trials on volunteers, homeless vets, undocumented migrants, snatched off streets. Vic threatened to blow it wide open. Alex couldn't have that. The frame was surgical. My fingerprints on the gun, lifted from my gym bag during a romantic weekend. My DNA on the scene, hair from our shared sheets planted like breadcrumbs. Alibi? Alex swore I was with him in Napa that night. But the Vineyard security footage glitched, showing me solo, driving south on I-80. By dawn, FBI vans swarmed our condo, cuffs snapping on my wrists while Alex played the shocked lover, tears glistening under the news cameras. "She's innocent," he sobbed to Anderson Cooper. "This is a nightmare."
The jury didn't buy it.
Manslaughter. 20 to life. I shipped off to San Quentin in like irons, the Bay's fog swallowing my screams. But that was the clean kill. The real gut punch came in the prison infirmary. 3 months in. I'd been roughed up in Gen Pop. Tommy Malone's body was a walking target, tatted with gang ink from a life of meth-fueled heists. Fought back. Cracked a CO's nose. Landed in solitary. That's when the headache started. Migraines like lightning forks behind my eyes. Doc chalked it up to withdrawal. Pumped me full of Haldol.
Then,
One night, the walls dissolved. Flashes. My own face, pale and pleading, strapped to a gurney in some unmarked clinic. Alex's voice. Clinical as a surgeon. Initiate transfer. Target vessel, Malone. Subject's consciousness to be archived. Permanently. Needles. Fire in my veins. Then nothing. I woke up as Tommy. Fully. His memories flickered at the edges, Skid Row alleys in Oakland. The sting of track marks. A sister's overdose that hollowed him out. But the core was mine, Gianna's rage. Her love for 80s punk. Her abuela's tamales recipe etched in muscle memory. The swap wasn't a glitch. It was the plan. Alex needed a fall guy who wouldn't fight the narrative. Tommy Malone. Petty thief with priors. Confessed on tape, my voice in his gravelly throat. Spilling Vic's murder like it was his own score gone bad. The trial was a farce. No one questions a junkie's breakdown. I rotted in that skin, plodding in the dark, while Alex toasted my tragic end at galas, probably already eyeing ring number 2. Grandpa's letter arrived like a lifeline from the abyss. Elias Hank Reyes, retired Navy SEAL. The old bull who'd raised me after Mom OD'd and Dad bailed. He was the real American dream, Filipino immigrant kid turned door kicker in Nam. Then spec ops in the Gulf. Retiring to a double-wide in Bakersfield with a fridge full of bud and a garage gym that smelled like sweat and gun oil. We weren't close after I chased the city lights. But he'd send postcards, don't let the suits grind you down.
Mia.
Keep your blade sharp. Cancer took him quick. Pancreatic. Stage 4 by diagnosis. The notice came via my public defender. Hanksville left everything to Gianna Reyes, his pride and joy. Everything being a rusty storage unit in Fresno. Unit 47 at Ironclad Self-Storage. Paid up through 2030. Parole board fast-tracked it. Sympathy play for the wronged widow angle. Plus Alex's lobbyists whispering about closure. 48 hours compassionate release. Ankle monitor beeping like a bomb collar. A Greyhound ticket. And a 20 spot for bus fare. I stepped into the Central Valley sun squinting through Tommy's bloodshot eyes. The air thick with almond dust and diesel. Fresno sprawled like a half-forgotten promise. Strip malls bleeding into oil fields. The Sierra Nevada mocking from the east. Ironclad was a concrete crypt off Highway 99. Razor wire glinting under sodium lamps. Units stacked like forgotten sins. The manager. A paunchy ex-cop named Ruiz. Eyed me like I was casing the joint. Malone? Thought you were Gianna Reyes. I flashed the will. My forged ID. Tommy's jivvy mug doctored in the prison library with a smuggled Bic and glue. Family resemblance. I grunted, voice scraping like sandpaper. He shrugged, handed over the key. Unit 47 smelled of mildew and motor oil. The roll-up door screeching like a banshee as I hauled it open. Dust motes danced in the slash of light. Cardboard boxes labeled Kuwait 91, a footlocker stenciled with USN. Rusted weight plates. A faded photo of Grandpa in desert camis, grinning beside a Black Hawk. I sank onto a crate, the weight of this borrowed flesh pressing down. And that's when I saw it, the false bottom in the footlocker. A seam Grandpa's calloused hands would have hidden from a drill sergeant. Pry bar from the corner. Wood splintering. And there it was, a battered Pelican case. Olive drab. Locked with a combo I knew by heart, his service number, 6719. Inside. Foam cutouts cradling a miracle and a curse. The device, sleek as a Glock. matte black. Ports like a neural jackrabbit. Beside it, a spiral notebook. Grandpa's block letters marching across pages, yellowed with age. Project Echo, My Ghost in the Machine. The first entry read. Dated 1987. Turns out, Hank Reyes hadn't just kicked doors. He'd been DARPA's pet wizard for wet work R&D. Echo was his baby, born in a bunker under Langley, swapping rat brains to test loyalty under fire. By 91, human trials, a captured Iraqi colonel dumped into a Marine's corpse for interrogation. Success rate? 87%. But the blowback, psychotic breaks, identity bleed, shut it down. Grandpa stole the prototype, buried it deep. For the day the suits turn on their own. My hands shook as I traced the schematics. The neural map that mirrored Apex's public patents. Alex hadn't stolen it. He'd reverse-engineered leaks from Grandpa's old SEAL buddies. Pension bribes for blueprints. But the notebook held more, a list of transfers. Black ink on gray paper. Gianna, contingency. If they come for you, flip the script. Port A, injector. Port B, receiver. One shot. No do-overs. And tucked in the back, a USB drive, encrypted with my birth date. Plugging it into a cracked burner phone from the bus station. The files unfolded like a horror show. Videos me, drugged in that clinic, Alex in scrubs. A ghost of a surgeon overseeing the swap. Tommy's suicide in county lockup, overdose staged, body fresh for the vessel. But the gut kick, Grandpa knew. A audio log. His voice gravel and regret. Mija, if you're hearing this, I'm gone. Alex's old man pulled strings, echoes back. Dirtier than before. I tried to warn you, but you were in too deep. This box is your out. Swap back. Or swap them. But remember, ghosts don't forgive easy. Tears, Tommy's, salty and foreign, cut tracks down my cheeks. Betrayal layered like onion skin, not just Alex, but the Harrington machine, Grandpa's silence. I pocketed the device, the notebook, a K-bar from the footlocker, its edge whispering promises. The ankle monitor chirped, 6 hours till lockdown. Time to decide. Fade into Tommy's grave, or rise as Gianna's vengeance. Skin be damned. The bus back to Quinton was a blur of taillights and regret, the Central Valley whipping past like Judgment Day. I hid the case under the seat, heart hammering a war drum. Prison swallowed me again, but now I had teeth. Weeks blurred into a grind of yard time and commissary hustles. Tommy's rep buying me space to study. The device was elegant, palm-sized injector. Vial of nanites that hijack synapses, bridging minds across voids. Activation. Dermal patch. Synced to a target's neural signature via hacked Apex app. Risk? Cascade failure. 2 souls shredded in the ether. First test. Whispers in the block. C.O. Ramirez. The one who'd found Tommy's body. Twitchy around me since the swap. I cornered him in the laundry. K-bar shadow under my sleeve. You knew, I hissed, Malone's growl laced with my silk. He blanched, stammered denials. The patch went on smooth, vial hissing like a viper. His eyes rolled, body slumping as I felt the pull, a vertigo tug, like falling through fog. Then, snap, I was Ramirez, squat and sweating in his uniform, staring at my old skin convulsing on the tiles. It worked. Better than blueprints. I dragged Tommy to the showers. Drown the evidence in bleach and lies, suicide. Again. In Ramirez's body. I accessed the armory. Greased palms for favors. Built a network of ghosts. Inmates with grudges. Hacks who owed Tommy markers. Controversial? Hell yeah. First blood was a lifer named Rico. Snitch who'd fingered my trial. I swapped him with a rat in the kitchen. Watched the man chew his own tongue in panic. Mercy killing. I told myself. Justice with a side of cruelty. Parole hearing loomed. Greased by anonymous donations. Alex's guilt money. Funneled back like poison. I walked free as Ramirez. Badge shining. Tommy's husk cremated as unclaimed. Bay Area welcomed me with open arms and open veins. Traffic on the 101. Fog rolling off the peninsula like amnesia. Alex's empire glittered from afar. Apex Tower. A glass monolith in Menlo Park. Neural crowns for the 1%. I rented a studio in Oakland under Ramirez's name. Walls papered with Harrington dossiers, Senate speeches, offshore accounts, Vic's autopsy photos screaming cover-up. The plan crystallized in dive bars. Over warm IPAs and Ramirez's shaky hands. Infiltrate. Isolate. Incinerate. Step 1. Swap into the inner circle. Lena Voss. Alex's PA. The gatekeeper with keys to the kingdom. I tailed her to yoga in the marina.
Patch prepped.
Mid-downward dog. The hit, her mind fleeing to Ramirez's shell in a panic attack at home. Now I was Lena. Lululemon chic and access codes galore. Alex didn't notice. He never did, pawing me in elevators. Murmuring about our future while scrolling stock tickers. Being Lena was a masterclass in rot. Board meetings where Echo pitched as empathy therapy, swapping execs for team building. Alex's nights. Coke-fueled romps with models. My Lena's body a prop until he passed out. I logged it all. Server breaches pulling transfer logs. Vic's real killer, a Harrington fixer named Slade. Controversial call. I dosed Alex's scotch with a microtransfer. Partial link letting me siphon memories. Flashes of his youth. Daddy's belt. Mommy's pills humanized the monster just enough to make the hate burn hotter. But crack showed. Lena's fiancé called. Voice breaking. Babe. What's wrong? You sound off. I ghosted him. Then worse. Swapped him out for a burner identity when he got nosy. Body count climbing. Each swap a moral skid. Was I saving lives or stacking corpses? Grandpa's words echoed. Ghosts don't forgive easy. I pushed on. Lena's heels clicking through apex corridors. Device hidden in a tampon case. Irony's little joke. The climax brewed in the penthouse. Alex's domain atop the tower. Skyline bleeding into Pacific ink. He'd greenlit full Echo rollout. Civilian swaps for the ultra-rich.
Immortalität.
Launch gala that week. Donors swarming like sharks. I played the loyal aide. Spiking his view with truth serum light. Nanites loosening tongues. Vic had to go, he slurred. Eyes glassy. He saw the endgame, Harrington dynasty eternal. Minds hopping shells like hotel rooms. You were collateral. Gianna. Love's a glitch. I almost broke cover then. Lena's nails digging crescents into palms. Instead, I smiled. Poured another flute. Tell me about the vessel, I purred. Tommy Malone, why him? Alex laughed. Bitter as battery acid. Perfect patsy. Dead end. No family. And you. God. You fought it. Screaming my name as the light faded. Confession recorded. Uploaded to dark web drops. Vic's widow. Investigative hacks. But it wasn't enough. Revenge demanded intimacy. Final swap. Midnight. Him shirtless in the master bath. Steam curling like specters. I cornered him with the injector. Full dose. Lena? What the foo? His eyes widened, then rolled, body crumpling as the bridge built. Agony. Two minds clashing. His arrogance slamming my grief like tectonic plates. Then, silence. I was Alex Harrington, 6'3" of tailored muscle and toxic charm, staring at Lena's form twitching on marble. Me now, staggered up, her voice a stranger's sob. Gianna?
No.
This can't. I zip-tied him to the bidet, K-bar dancing light over veins. Feel that, Alex? The erasure. Vic felt it. Tommy felt it. Now you. Questions poured. The fixer, the bribes, the bodies. He begged, promised empires, but the blade whispered no. One slice. Carotid blooming red, controversial mercy. Or just murder. As he gurgled, I felt the twist coming. A neural hiccup in the link. Grandpa's voice. Not Alex's, Hank's gravel. Bleeding through. Mija. Stop. It's not him. The drive. The logs, they weren't just evidence. Echoes flaw. Residual echoes. Souls lingering in the machine. Grandpa hadn't stolen the prototype. He'd become it. In 95, terminal malaria in the Philippines, he'd transferred himself into the device. A digital ghost haunting the code Alex stole. The warnings? His failsafe. Coded into my neural map at birth. Tattoo on my hip. A family crest that was really a QR for the contingency. Truth reversed. Alex wasn't the architect. Senator Elias was. Daddy Harrington, dying of Alzheimer's, swapped into Alex's body years back, Elias puppeteering his son like a meat marionette. The fiancé I'd loved? A husk. Elias's regrets and rages wearing Alex's skin. The frame. The swap, it was Elias erasing threats to the dynasty, using his grandson as bait. Grandpa's ghost had tried to intervene, leaking to Vic, but the machine corrupted, binding my transfer to his echo. I slumped. Alex's, Elias's, body heavy with borrowed sins. The gala loomed, sirens distant. Controversial end. I could swap back, expose the logs, watch the Harrington empire burn in congressional hearings. Justice. American style, slow, televised, profitable for lawyers. Or trigger cascade. Overload the device. Shred all linked souls, Elias.
Grandpa.
The echoes of Vic and Tommy. Collective oblivion. No winners. Dawn broke over the bay. Gold on glass. I chose the blade again. Not on flesh, but wire, severing the penthouse servers. Echoes cradle crumbling in sparks. No swap back. Gianna Reyes stayed buried. A ghost among ghosts. I walked out as Alex. Empire intact but hollow. Senator's secrets dying with the old man in Lena's shell. Was it victory? Hell if I know. Some days, I catch my reflection, his reflection, and wonder if forgiveness was the real swap we all lost. The end? Open mic at a dive in the Mission. Ramirez's ghost haunting a barstool, toasting the woman I was. They argue in whispers, hero or horror, avenger or abyss. Pour another round. The night's young. And so are our sins. The first weeks in Alex's skin were a fever dream of power and paranoia. Every mirror a betrayal. Every handshake a potential unmasking. Apex Tower hummed with the banal machinery of empire. Earnings calls at dawn. Venture vultures circling for scraps. The faint ozone whiff of server farms birthing the next neural god. I played the part. Crisp Oxford shirts. That disarming grin patented by generations of Harringtons. Barking orders that moved markets. Push Echo Beta to Q2, I'd say in boardrooms overlooking the dumb sprawl of the valley. Interns scurrying like roaches. Inside. Gianna screamed, Tommy's echoes muttering about scores unsettled. Grandpa's ghost flickering like static. Keep sharp. Mija. Blades dull in the light. Lena's body. Stashed in a deep freeze at a fixer's warehouse in Richmond, Slade's crew. The same shadows who'd iced Vic began to thaw in my nightmares. I jolt awake in Alex's king bed. Sheets twisted like nooses. The penthouse too quiet except for the hum of the city below. Was Elias still clawing around in there? Puppeteering from the void? Partial scans from the device said no. Soul shred.
Clean kill.
But doubt gnawed. American as apple pie laced with arsenic. I doubled security. Purged staff with restructuring, each pink slip a thread pulled from the noose. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon through moral minefields. And mine was littered with the controversial kind. Take the gala. Black tie swarm at the De Young. Donors and tuxes that cost more than my abuela's house. Champagne waterfalls cascading into crystal. I arrived as Alex. Arm candy a interchangeable blonde from HR, swap-proof. Vetted. Senator Elias, or his proxy, held court by the Monet. Silver fox with a drawl like bourbon and brimstone. Eyes locking on me with paternal pride.
Son.
Echoes our legacy. Your mother would have been proud. Lie. All of it, the real misses. HOD'd on pills when Alex was 10. Elias's affairs the chaser. I cornered him in the sculpture garden. Fog rolling off the bay like a shroud. About Gianna, I murmured. Voice Alex's velvet trap. Loose end. Elias chuckled. Cigar smoke curling. Collateral.
Boy.
Like your Harvard tuition, necessary expense. Confession 2. Recorded on a cufflink cam. But the kill? Tempting. A shove toward the koi pond. Accidental, drowning in shallow water. Controversial. Petty. Untraceable. Instead, I smiled. Clinked glasses. To family, patience, Grandpa's echo urged. The blade waits. Back at the tower. The real work, dismantling from within. I greenlit audits on Echo's black budget, funneling funds to whistleblower drops, VIX files, anonymized, hitting ProPublica inboxes. Controversial pivot. I swapped a mid-level exec, Harlan Tate, the bean counter who'd signed off on my Gianna's frame. Dumped his mind into a coma patient in Stanford Med, his body piloting a truck off the Dumbarton at 80. Crash report. Fatigue. Harlan woke up paralyzed, raging in a blog no one read. Mercy? Or just marking territory? Tommy's memories bled through worse at night, flashbacks to Oakland squats. Sister's needle-tracked arms. The heist that landed him in county. I'd pace the penthouse. K-bar flipping in Alex's manicure hands. Slashing at shadows. One dawn. I drove the Tesla to Bakersfield. Ramirez's old cruiser traded for this electric lie. Grandpa's double-wide sagged under dust. Yellow tape fluttering like surrender flags. Inside. Fadet glory, cel placues. Mom's old Polaroids. A fridge humming with ghosts. I sat at his workbench. Tools rusted but true, and uploaded the USB to his ancient Commodore, crackling to life with a basic prompt. Contingency protocol, the screen blinked. Grandpa's digital will, coordinates for safe houses, encrypted ledgers of DARPA payoffs, a manifest of Echo test subjects, dozens, names redacted to numbers. My number, G17. Swapped August 14th, 2023. Clinic in Mountain View. But the twist within the twist, Grandpa hadn't just echoed himself, he'd laced the nanites with a tracker. My consciousness a Trojan horse in Apex's code. Every transfer since?
Mine.
Partial links I'd done on Alex. Tate. They weren't clean. Slivers of me lingered. Puppeteering from the periphery. Power surged. Dark and debatable. I could collapse the grid, trigger mass cascades, Apex servers frying souls worldwide. Or selective, hit Elias's donors. Swap oligarchs into their own underlings. Watch empires unravel from the boiler room.
Chose surgicale.
Starting with Slade, the fixer. Tailed him to a steamship lounge meet in the Tenderloin. Patch slipped into his bourbon neat. Swap in the alley, his bulk to a junkie tweaking under the marquee. Me in Slade's leather jacket, Glock heavy in holster. Being Slade was profane poetry, Tats telling tales of cartel runs. A Rolodex in his phone of senators and sheiks. I hid his safe house in the Presidio. Files spilling, Vic's hit. My swap order signed Yh. Elias Harrington. And photos me. Gianna.
Pre-swap.
Laughing at a vineyard with Alex. But one buried deeper, a grainy shot from 95. Grandpa in Manila. Arm around a young officer. Elias Harrington. Pre-senator. Post-academy. SEAL exchange program. Blood brothers. Grandpa's note read. He sold the dream for the deal. Echo is ours, till he twisted it. Betrayal cubed. Elias wasn't just puppet master. He was Grandpa's shadow. The brother who'd greenlit Echo's horrors for votes and vaults. The deep secret? Mom's OD wasn't suicide. Elias's affair with her.
Post-divorce from Dad.
Hank covering with a staged relapse to protect the family name. I'd borne that sin too, growing up with Hank's silences. They uncles who weren't. Rage boiled. Controversial catharsis. I torched Slade's files. Swap reversed in a motel tub, his mind snapping back to gibbering madness. Body count, 4. Maybe 5 if you count Echoes. Elias's net tightened. Feds, sniffing audits. Board whispering coup. I leaned in, accelerating Echo trials, public demos, swapping volunteers for applause. One night, a starlet mid-transfer on stage. Lights dimming, her eyes mine for a flicker. Crowd gasped, I bowed as Alex. Heart-pounding salsa.
Post-show.
Elias pulled me aside in the green room. Cigar ash dusting his lapel. You're slipping.
Son.
That Latina fire, Gianna's ghost. Chills. He knew. Partial echo. Or paranoia. Decision point. Confront or consume. I chose the latter. Inviting him to the penthouse for strategy. Scotch poured. Patch prepped. But he countered his own vial. Military surplus. Jammed into my Alex's thigh. Fire again. Minds colliding, Elias's steel while slamming Grandpa's Echo. My core fracturing. Visun. Nambunka. Elias and Hank swapping enemy minds for sport. Mom's bed. Pills scattered like confetti. My swap. Elias directing. Make it stick. Rhea's blood's weak anyway. We tumbled. Fused. A 3-headed hydra raging on Persian rugs. I won, barely, ejecting him into a potted fern, his consciousness wilting leaves. But cost, Grandpa's echo shattered. Digital dad dissolving in static sobs. Forgive us?
Mia.
We built monsters to fight them. I cradled Alex's body, bruised and broken, as dawn painted the bay bloody. Empire teetered. Leaks hit CNN. Apex scandal. Mind swap horror. Donors fled. Stocks cratered. I played the whistleblower, testifying in D.C. Under immunity, controversial flip. From villain to victim? Elias's husk vegetated in a Harrington-funded clinic. Vegetable justice. But the debatable core, was I free? Gianna's face haunted billboards. Missing exec found innocent. Tommy's family, sisters, kids, cash my anonymous checks. None the wiser. Nights. I drive the one. Wind whipping salt from my eyes. The devices buried now. Under Grandpa's oak in Bakersfield. Roots drinking secrets. Happy ending? Tragic farce? You tell me. I'm just the ghost wearing the crown. Freedom's a funny word when your skin's on loan. And mine started chafing hard after the gala fallout. Apex rebranded overnight. Harrington Health, ditching Echo for ethical AI. Press releases dripping with crocodile tears. I helmed the ship as Alex. Golden parachute inflated. But the board's eyes lingered too long. Whispers of psych evals behind my back. He's changed, they'd murmur in the executive lounge. Nursing $18 lattes. Damn right I had. Gianna's grit grinding against Alex's polish. Tommy's street smarts sharpening the edges. Controversial perk. The power let me rewrite narratives. But every edit cost a sliver of soul. First order. Bury the bodies. Slade's swap held. I reversed it clean, dumping his mind back into the junky husk before the overdose took hold. Mercy. Or loose end tied. He woke raving in an ER. Fingers clawing at phantom patches. But the docs chalked it up to bath salts. Harlan Tate? I visited his rehab in Palo Alto. Wheeled him to the garden for closure. Partial link. Siphoning his regrets. Kids' tuition unpaid. Wife's affair. Tell them, I said in Alex's timbre. Then the vial, his essence into a goldfish bowl. Bubbling futility. Controversial euthanasia. Or karma scalpel. I flushed the remnants. Watching orange scales swirl to oblivion. The deeper dive was Elias. His clinic room in Bethesda was a velvet tomb, monitors beeping lullabies. Nurses fluffing hypoallergenic pillows on the taxpayer dime. I flew in private. Alex's Amex black no questions. Landing amid cherry blossoms mocking the decay. He lay there. Senator's frame shrunken to parchment. Eyes vacant pools reflecting fluorescent hell. But in the link, faint pulse. His will a guttering candle. I patched in. Bridging the void. Flashes of Yale halls.
Golf war briefings.
Mom's laugh cut short by his ambition. You stole her, I accused. Gianna's voice echoing in the ether. And me. His response. A whisper. For the greater. Echo saves nations, saves us all. Bullshit sacrament. I could have ended it full cascade. Shredding the dregs. Instead, controversial compassion. I fed him memories.
Mine.
Gianna's childhood Christmases with Hank. Tamales steam fogging windows. Tommy's sister's funeral. Rain on cheap caskets. Let him stew in the wattis. A mind meld purgatory. As I unplugged, his lips twitched, first in months. Forgive. Debate fodder. Redemption or refined torture. Back west. The empire's underbelly writhed. I hit the dark pools, anonymous tips to DOJ. IRS audits on donors who'd bankrolled Echo's sins. One whale. Tech baron Preston Lyle swapped his ailing dad into a star athlete's body for legacy play. I crashed his yacht off Catalina, Patch in the caviar, dumping him into the skipper's rum-soaked frame mid-storm. Waves claimed the boat, Lal washed up babbling sea shanties. Tabloids ate it, billionaires break down. Power's drug, and I was hooked. Each swap a high chasing the low of loss. But ghosts congregate. Ramirez's old beat, Oakland's ghost town fringes, called One Muggy Night. Neon flickering like faulty synapses. I drove the Beamer down MacArthur. Past murals of Black Panthers faded to gray, parking by a taqueria that smelled like home. There, in a booth scarred with knives, sat Rico's widow, the lifer I'd swapped to rat duty. Her eyes narrowed on Alex's face. You the suit who greenlit my man's transfer? Tommy's Echo recognized her, barrio ties. Shared smokes in the yard. I slid into the vinyl, ordering carnitas, like penance. She knew fragments, whispers from the block. My miracle spying commissary for the hopeless. Ghost girl, she called me, forking rice with tattooed hands. You walk in revenge. Or just another chain. We talked till closing. Her boy's juvie stint. My Gianna's, Abuela's border-crossing tales. Controversial bond. I wired her kids' bail. Then swapped the judge, a golf buddy of Elias, with a dementia ward reject. Gavel dropped lighter next day. Justice? Or playing God with loaded dice? Grandpa's Echo fragmented more. Glitches in dreams, him and Cammy's. Teaching me knife throws in the Bakersfield dirt.
Vales.
Twist at the end. Mija always. Awake. I'd sift the notebook. Pages dog-eared now. Uncovering addendums. Echo's origin not 87, but 72, Hank and Elias in a Hanoi safe house. Swapping a VC commander's mind to end a siege. Heroic then, monstrous later. The secret buried deepest, my bloodline. Mom wasn't Elias's mistress, she was his half-sister. Hank's too. A wartime flings fruit. Incest shadow over the dynasty. Me the tainted heir. Rage reloaded. I targeted the root. Harrington Foundation Gala in D.C. Black money laundered as charity. Flew cross-country. Suite at the Hay Adams overlooking the White House. Irony's penthouse. Elias's cronies swarmed. Lobbyists with Rolex grins. Ex-CIA toasting the old guard. I cornered the fixer-in-chief. A spook named Carver. In the cloakroom. Echo's father-confessor. I quipped, vial slipping into his scotch. Swap swift, his tweed to a busboy's apron. Me and his wingtips. Dossiers heavy in briefcase. Carver's mind was a vault, operation files, Watergate whispers, Echo's resurrection under Bush. And the ledger, swaps for political hits. Mine's exiled to Guantanamo husks. My entry. G17, relocate to T. Malone, framing viable. Subject combative. Signed Yates. But the reversal. Hank's countersignature. Echo, override pending. Grandpa hadn't abandoned me. He'd coded a sleeper, my transfer laced with a recall beacon. Activating on inheritance claim. The storage unit? Bait. Drawing me to the prototype for the flip. I torched Carver's files in a Potomac dumpster. Swap reversed in a metro tunnel, his panic attack blamed on agoraphobia. Back in Alex's shell. The high crashed.
Board Kubrewing, SEC sniffing.
Controversial counter. I swapped the ringleader. COO Denise Wu. Into her rival's body, corporate catfight eternal. She woke clawing at her reflection, stocks spiking on the chaos. But the mirror lied worse. Alex's eyes, crow's feet deepening, stared back accusatory. Was I him now? Gianna eroded? Tommy's cravings hit hard, midnight runs to dive bars, scoring off ghosts, waking in gutters with echoes howling. Grandpa's voice faded to white noise, last words looping. Choose. Mija. Blade or bridge? The choice came in a storm-lashed boardroom. Thunder-rattling panes. Shareholders virtual. Faces pixel ghosts demanding my head. I stood at the head. Projector humming Vic's unredacted files. Echo ends, I declared. Hitting send, leaks global. Headlines erupting. Chaos, arrests, suicides. Apex fracturing like fault lines. Elias flatlined that night. Monitors flatlining in sympathy. In the aftermath, I drove south, 101 blurring to blacktop therapy. Bakersfield called. Unit 47 waiting. Pry bar again. Pelican case, gleaming. Vial loaded. Patch on Alex's neck, self-transfer. Consciousness arcing too.
What?
No vessel, just void. But Grandpa's echo caught me. Digital arms pulling. Home. Mija. Swap to me, finish the circuit. Debates end. I pressed inject. World dissolving to code. Woke not in flesh, but light. Hank's ghost. Whole again. Gianna's core nested safe. The body, Alex's, slumped. Overdose narrative ready. We watched from the ether as feds swarmed. Headlines debating, suicide or sabotage. Legacy? A ghost story. American Dark, Betrayal's blade cuts both ways. You argue the moral. We're just the wind. The ether's not heaven. It's a waiting room with bad fluorescence and echoes that won't shut up. Grandpa and I floated there. Or whatever passes for floating when you're code in the cloud. His seal bark gruff even in bits. Told ya? Mija. Twist at the end. Gianna's me laughed. Bitter bubbles. You could have warned me sooner. Abuelo. Like. Before the syringe, he chuckled. Static-laced. Free will's the real black op. Had to let you run the op. Controversial reunion. Family therapy in the void. Unpacking sins like duffels from the storage unit. But voids don't hold. Gravity pulls. And mine yanked back to dirt. Grandpa's echo had jury-rigged the transfer, a fork. Not a full merge. My consciousness splintered, sliver in the device. Bulk dumped into a backup vessel he'd prepped decades back. Woke gasping in a Bakersfield motel. Body not Alex's. Not Tommy's. But a stranger's, mid-40s Latina. Gym-toned. Face from a DMV photo I'd seen once. Tia Rosa. Mom's sister. Long dead in a car wreck. Contingency, too, Grandpa's note explained. Taped to the dash of her '98 Civic. Blood close enough, swap stable. Live quiet. Or loud. Your call. Tia Rosa's skin fit like a glove half-sized. Memories bleeding. Border runs with Abuela. Rosa's laugh over pozole pots. A lover lost to ICE raids. I stared in the rear view. Her dark eyes mine now. Flecked with Gianna's fire. Bakersfield sprawled oil slick under sodium haze. Rigs nodding like guilty confessions. First move. Ditch the Civic at a chop shop. Cash from Alex's slush fund wired to a mule account.
Then.
North Sacramento. State capital. Where Elias's tentacles lingered in marble halls. Revenge Phase 2. Institutional.
As Rosa.
I enrolled in community college nursing track. Ironic shield, while moonlighting as a stringer for a podunk paper. Investigative insights. By day. Scrubs and stethoscopes. By night. FOIAs and bar tabs. Chasing Harrington ghosts. Controversial cover. I seduced a clerk in the AG's office. A rumpled widower named Pete. Swapping pillow talk for redacted files. Echoes and... he murmured post-coital. Tracing my Rosa's tattoo. A faded anchor from Hank's influence. Or beginning? I smiled. Vial hidden in the nightstand. No swap, just info, Elias's will. Probating billions to charities that funneled to Black Ops. The deeper cut, Vic Lang's widow.
Elena.
Holed up in a Sausalito cottage. Drowning grief in Pinot. I visited as a grief counselor, Rosa's warmth cracking her shell. Over tea. She spilled. Vic's affair, not with me, but files. He loved you like a daughter. Gianna. Said you were the conscience Apex lost. Lie detector her tears. Vic had suspected the swap. Left breadcrumbs in my inbox as warning. Controversial revelation. I confessed fragments. I'm a ghost of her, and she believed. Eyes widening. Alliance forged. Elena's hacker kid. A Berkeley dropout. Cracking Apex remnants for echo logs. Tension coiled like barbed wire.
Fed circled. Alex suicide relais suspicieux.
Task force, sniffing my digital trail. I dodged. Rosa's clean slate a cloak. But paranoia peaked in a Capitol garage. Shadows lengthening. Carver's ghost, the spook-eyed swapped, haunted. Anonymous tip line buzzing with my description. Female Hispanic. Mid-40s. Bakersfield plates. Clothes. But no cigar. I swapped the tail. A Fed named Kowalski. Into his K-9 partner's mind, doggy cam footage gold for misdirection. Woke as the shepherd. Barking in mirrors. Before reversing in a kennel. Cruel? Effective. Debatable ethics. Ends justifying pause. Grandpa's echo ping sporadic. Device stashed in a PO. Box. Updates like ham radio. Elias's seed scattered. Find the roots. Roots led to Texas. A ranch outside Austin. Harrington retreat for off-books meets. I flew southwest. Rosa's duffel-packed light. K-bar. Burner. Vial kit. Posed as a caterer. Badge swiped from a van. Controversial infiltration. Flirting with the foreman for access codes. Inside. Longhorns lowing under stars. Cabal gathered. Ex-senators. Oil barons. Echo evangelists toasting. Immortal republic. Elias's proxy. A nephew named Trent. Held sway. Blonde shark in BOLO tie. Preaching mind uploads as manifest destiny. I served apps. Ears perked. Plans for Echo 2.0. Swaps for elections. Consciousnesses voting in perpetuity. Trent's eyes lingered on Rosa's curves. I played along. Vial in the vinaigrette. Swap in the tack room. His Stetson to a stable-hand sombrero. Me in his ostrich boots. Drawl slipping easy. Y'all hear about that California mess? I drawled at the fire pit. Probing. They bit. Whispers of cover-ups. Elias's retirement, a feint. Trent's memories flooded. Uncle's bedside swap. Elias jumping his own kin for vigor. Alex next in line till the glitch.
Me?
That Reyes bitch. Elias's folly. Blood too close. Echoes too loud. Twist inverted. The incest shadow wasn't sin. It was strategy. Elias had bred the line for compatibility, Mom.
Me.
Vessels primed for his eternal ride. Grandpa's counter? Sabotaging the nanites. My swap a virus in the code. Rage rodeo. I torched the server barn, digital dry gulch, wiping manifests. Swaps reversing in chaos. Barons barking like dogs. Senators stumbling in maids' heels. Trent's body I kept till dawn. Riding fence lines. Wind whipping confession from lungs. Then eject. Back to Rosso in the hayloft. His husk hogtied for the law. Sirens wailed as I peeled out. Austin receding like a bad bet. Back in Cali. Climax brewed. Elena's kid cracked the vault. Final log. Elias's origin swap. 95. Not malaria for Hank.
But Elias' ALS diagnosis.
They'd flipped Hank's healthy frame to Elias's dying shell. Brotherhood's last gift. But Elias twisted it, puppeteering Hank's career end. Stealing Echo for power. Grandpa's retirement. Exile in his own skin. Watching the monster wear his face. Heartbreak haymaker. I drove to the storage unit. Unit 47, a time capsule now. Dust thicker. Pelican case open. Device humming welcome. Grandpa's echo full. Truth's the real blade. Mija. Cuts deepest. I patched in. Circuit closing. Visions of brothers in blood. Betrayals birthed in foxholes. Controversial choice. Mercy delete. Erasing echoes. Letting ghosts rest. Or merge. Become the hybrid, Gianna Hank Rosa. Eternal Avenger. Storm hit. Thunder cracking like judgment. Lightning flashed the mirror. Rosa's face. Layered with all. I chose merge. Vials self-inject. Minds weaving tapestry. Pain exquisite. Then peace, tapestry complete. Sins woven whole. Woke whole. Body humming hybrid. Empire's ashes settled. Apex dissolved. Assets seized. Headlines debating tech terror or trial run. I walked out. Unit locking behind. K-bar pocketed.
Future?
Open road. American vast. Quiet life or loud legend. The debate's yours. I'm just the story wearing skin. Hybrid's a hell of a drug. Gianna's fire. Hank's steel. Rosa's roots twining in one vein. Pulsing with borrowed heartbeats. Bakersfield faded in the Civic's mirror. 99 northbound, a vein to the coast. Radio crackling Springsteen like a sermon. Tramps like us. Baby, we were born to run. Controversial calm. No blade thirst. Just a quiet unraveling the threads. Apex's corpse picked clean by vultures. DOJ probes. Class actions stacking like cordwood. Elena got Vic's patents. Foundation for ethical neural. Irony's full circle. I wired her seed money. Rosa's bank a ghost account. But peace? Fleeting as fog. Echoes orphans haunted. Test subjects. Swaps botched. Minds adrift in wrong shells. First ping. A call to Rosa's flip phone. Voice cracked like old vinyl. Tia? It's Marco, your nephew from LA. Rosa's kin. Forgotten branch. His plea, sister catatonic post-swap experiment. Apex volunteer gone wrong. I met him in a Echo Park talk area. Murals of Aztec warriors, watching judgment.
Marco.
Wiry with worry lines. Slid photos his sis. Eyes vacant in a care home. Body young but soul frayed. Help her, he begged. Hands trembling over horchata.
Controversial bind. Expose more?
Risk the net closing? Or play savior? I nodded. Vile kit in glove box calling. Drove to the facility. Van Nuys sprawl.
Posing as family.
Her room smelled of antiseptic and despair. Louisa.
25.
Trapped in a grandma's husk. Memories of Marco's childhood slipping like sand. Partial link. Her terror. Apex recruiters promising pain relief, waking as someone else's ache. I bridged. Siphoning the foreign echo, grandma's regrets dissolving like smoke. Full swap? No vessel. Instead, Nanite purge. Flushing the code. Luisa gasped, eyes clearing to her own.
Marco?
Hug broke me, hybrid tears.
Gianna's sob.
Hank's grunt. Controversial cure. One saved. Dozens waiting. Words spread underground, forums buzzing, the ghost fixer. Desperate souls emailing chords. I became legend. Moonlight mechanic. Swapping nights for paid or pro bono. Each fix a moral maze. Save the child in the killer's skin. Or let justice's will turn. Elias's shadow lingered longest. His estate auctioned in D.C. Gavel falling on relics, Senate pins. Nom helmet dented by fate. I bid remote. Snagging the helmet. Hank's once. Irony's trophy. Back home, a cottage in Big Sur now. Cliffs dropping to surf like suicide notes, I hung it by the door. Ghosts guarding. Grandpa's echo stabilized. Nights by the fire. Stories of Panama drops. Brothers' packs broken. Elias chose power, he said. Flames dancing. I chose you. Debatable absolution. Blood washes blood. Or just dilutes it. Twists aftershock hit in a FedEx from Elena. USB. Labeled Final Echo. Vic's killshot, not Elias. But Hank? Log audio, 2023 clinic.
My swap.
Voices, Alex, Elias puppeteered. Slade. And a third, Gravel familiar. Proceed. She's the key, my key.
Grandpa?
Selling me out for.
What?
Echo's code clarified. Counterswap. Hank's plan to infiltrate as digital advisor. But Elias flipped the script mid-transfer, using him as bait. Reversal reversed. Grandpa's betrayal a ploy within ploy. His sale, a feint to embed the virus deeper. My hybrid core the kill switch.
Dormant till now.
I triggered it. Device pinging global. Apex servers worldwide. Residual nanites frying. Headlines next day. Neural implants recall. Mass hysteria? Swaps unraveling. Mind snapping home or to voids. Chaos cathartic. Oligarchs gibbering in AIDS bodies. Politicos pleading amnesia. But cost, Grandpa's echo winked out. Final words. Proud. Mija. Run free. Void echoed empty. Hybrid lighter. Gianna dominant. Controversial close. I buried the device under Big Sur redwoods. Roots to drink the last sins. No more swaps. Just living. Rose's garden. Gianna's books. Hank's discipline in dawn runs. Ending? You debate. Redemption arc or revenge's rerun. Happy in the haze. Tragic in the truth? I sip coffee on the deck. Pacific roaring approval. And smile. Tramps like us? We were born to rewrite. The story ends, but the argument? Eternal. Like America itself, dark, tense, unyielding.